And walking down this rocky road, wondering where my life is leading, rolling on to the better end. Finding out along the way what it takes to keep the living. You should know how it feels, my friend. All right, this is Federal Prison Talk Friday Night Live. Thanks for joining me, Tom. I got my guest Tom here, who me and him, we did a lot of time together. We spent some time together. Tonight, guys, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm also on Twitter. So all three channels. Last night I went live with Facebook and YouTube, and I got a couple people from Facebook tuning in. We'll see what happens with Twitter. So, Tom, how you doing tonight?
You know, I'm blessed beyond what I deserve, Sean. It's life can be fabulous, and you know, one of the great things about getting a break where you really have an opportunity to get to know yourself. You know, when you're behind the wall or behind the fence, it was a fabulous experience for me in terms of coming to terms with who I was and who I wanted to be. And so I'm so much happier than I was before all that junk happened. You know, and life is great. And, you know, for you guys that are, you know, in the mix, it's horrible. It's worse than horrible. We were there. We know how tough it is. But believe me, you guys are going to come out on the other end stronger, wiser. You're going to be more focused. You're going to know what you want. You're gonna have cleaned up a lot of the habits that you've accumulated your whole life. I mean, this is gonna be good. I mean, you got to pay some time, you got to pay some dues and get through the system. But once you get to the end and you get out, you're gonna see that there's some great opportunities out there. What Sean's doing is unbelievable in terms of impact in this community of ours. Here's a guy who, you know, came all the way from San Francisco to New Mexico. He's went to work for a returning citizen, a prison ministry, basically, and he just set that place alive, man, and he's doing a lot of good work. So God bless you guys. I know you're in a bad place right now, but believe me, it's going to get a lot better.
Tom, I agree. You know, prison, I got to do soul searching. I got to find the meaning of my life. I got to find God. I came out more confident, you know, not the first day out, of course, but, you know, I'm more confident in myself now. I've got a vision for the future, which I worked on while I was in there. And that me and Tom hung out in the law library quite a lot. And that's a good place to hang out in any prison, especially federal prison, because the people in there, it's a melting of the minds. Everybody in there is trying to prepare for the outside. I won't say everybody, but you know what I mean, Tom? You remember the guys that are in there, some are writing books, they're doing cases, they're reading, they're studying. And when we have the conversations, in other words, they're not often, but I mean, they're deep and they're meaningful. And, you know, you can really connect with people in that law library. Not that the rest of the prison, you can't meet good people, but, you know, that's where me and Tom did our connecting, if you remember, Tom.
Oh, I remember. That was a great experience. You know, you get a chance to meet hundreds of men and have serious conversations, and everyone has some amazing stories. But the talent you meet there, the people, the perspectives they have on life and the lessons you can learn. I mean, you're exactly right, Sean. That's a perfect place to spend 2 or 3 hours a day. You got a lot of time to spend in prison, but hanging out at that law library, listening to what people are dealing with, going through, you know, you got to be real, you got to be sincere, but it's a great place to really kind of, you know, reinvent yourself, you know, work out all the cobwebs, come to terms with some of the bad habits you have, and decide who you're going to be when you get out of there, because you have a fresh start. I mean, that's a corny word, but you really have a fresh start on a brand new life. You don't have to go out and be the same person with all the flaws and all the bad habits. You can go out and be whoever you want to be.
You know, my favorite spot in that law library. So it's got a bunch of windows, and there's a counter along the window where you're facing. You can see out the window. You can see the whole camp. I can watch cars going by. I see all the houses, and we don't have a fence. You know, and I went in there basically to write all my. I wrote 20 letters a month. So before I went in there, I had 20 people's addresses, cousins, family members. I had to make amends to in a lot of these letters, which took a year or so for some of them to write me back. A few friends that are still with me today. I had my AA recovery friends, a couple drug counselors when I was in rehab. I wrote to them, and I had a whole, bunch of different. There was Walt Pavlo that I wrote to, and RDAP Dan, who is on this channel now, and RDAP Dan is helping people. Of course, he charges. I don't, but he's a good guy. But I wrote to all these people, and most of them wrote me back. And, and I got to look out that window, and that was what I was doing. And I meet people like Tom, and you grow from there. Let me get some comments real quick here, and then we'll get talking again. Katrina, Tom, this is for you from Katrina. Can you see that, Tom?
Yeah. Hi, Tom. My son got justice, less than a year on sentence. Great. Probably halfway house by June. Fabulous. How old? Tell us how old your son is, and what do you think he's going to do when he gets out? Because he can do things that he never imagined in his whole life. He can do things that, he can live a very exciting adventure when he gets out because he has a whole different mindset. And so I'm really curious what he thinks he's going to do. And I hope he can open up his mind to maybe doing something he never, ever imagined doing. There's a great book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vision Lucani. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. You might want to buy that book, Katrina, and send it in to him because it'll help him reprogram his mind to open to living a much more adventuresome life and becoming maybe what God intended him to become.
Yeah, Katrina's son, I think he's done 4 years already at Fort Dix. Then they resentenced him for something, and now he finally got sentenced. She said he has like 11 months left, but he's still in the detention center waiting to get reassigned to a camp. So it could be a minute before he even finds out about halfway house time. But he should be home by next Christmas at the latest. But, yes, Katrina, we can see you. Let me give a shout out to my buddy Harvey. Harvey Talks Prison, guys. So Harvey has a channel called Harvey Talks Prison. Harvey did 29 years in Missouri state prisons. And Harvey's not like me and Tom. He did the hardcore prison. He did the penitentiaries. But Harvey tells his story very humbly, honestly, sincere, and he's not trying to tell you, check out his channel, Harvey Talks Prison. Harvey's been on my channel. Harvey, whenever you want to come on again, you're always welcome. You know that. So check out his channel. Neto or Nito, I guess it's Neto. How are injuries, broken bones, sprains, etc., handled by the staff and medical personnel in prison? Yeah, Tom.
Well, you don't want to get sick. You don't want to break any bones. That is not a good place to get medical attention. They have a medical unit there. And if it's something critical, they might transport you to the hospital to get some treatment, but they're going to bring you back in a minute. They're not going to let you stay there overnight. Right or wrong, medical services in federal prisons, the prison we were in Florence, is minimal. You've got to go stand in line at 6 a.m, and maybe you'll see a physician's assistant. You'll never see a doctor. Never see a doctor.
Yeah, we had Dr. Oba whenever he was available once a week, if you could get to see him. And I think they only take the first 10 people usually, and then they tell you, come back tomorrow, and you could be half dying in there. That's how it is.
If you have an appendicitis, if they take you to the hospital for appendicitis, they're going to bring you back that night, and you're going to have to walk down from the bubble to your residential unit. There's no coddling when it comes to healthcare. So get well before you go in, and live right when you're in there, and try not ever to get sick or have any accidents. you know, it's a tough place. We had a friend, who was that guy who had the hip surgery? He was in the law library.
That's right. Yeah. And he waited forever for surgeries. Oh,
He
man.
waited 2 years for surgery and he could barely walk. And then when they took him in for the hip surgery, they brought him right back.
That was Edmund, right?
Edmund.
Edmund. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He was a good man. I like that man. And he was getting up there in age. And
he was already in his 70s, and he had an interesting crime history, and the feds did not like him because he was sort of an international guy.
Yeah.
And so they're tough on you, man. You think the judge dispenses the justice, but there's more justice to be dispensed once you're in the camp or the low or the medium.
Right. Hey, Harvey, so I see you say you want to come on the channel anytime. How about tomorrow night, Harvey? You free? Let me know. Pick the time. I'll set it up. I use StreamYard now, Harvey, though. I don't use Zoom because you see how I can put the comments up. I can show clips. In a minute, I'm going to show some email from the court, from the prisons, and I can have different guests. And StreamYard, I think, is much better than Zoom because I can go live and do all this stuff. But I'll send you a link to your email. Let me know if tomorrow night's good for you or we're set up for next weekend or something. Let me know. And Neto, I'm going in with a freshly torn. I don't know what ACL stands for. Do you, Tom?
Yeah. And well, you know, have your doctor send a letter to the medical team at the camp, or tell us where you're going, but have your doctor send in a letter stating what treatment you need for this. Because if there's a medical connection, the medical union at wherever you're going to go do your time will be a lot more responsive. And then ask your doctor to keep in touch with that medical unit on how you're progressing. They'll respect that doctor reaching in there for a patient, but you're going to have to be careful, because I don't know if you got a special boot you're going to wear to protect it or what, but yeah, get your doctor on the outside involved, and it's going to help.
Okay. Tom knows more than I do. I'm going to read some letters from Alderson Prison and Florence. I went maybe 4 of these because some people have died, and Alderson's got a lot of problems. And let me just get to it. If you guys remember Audrey, she's been on the channel. She has her channel called Fed Phoenix, although now she's doing time. But let me read you some of these. I want to share a few emails with you. I'm going to read these first 4. First from Audrey, and she says, let me try to blow it up a little for you. I won't be able to call this weekend until my minutes renew on Sunday. I'm doing okay. In the last week, we've had 2 inmates pass, one while waiting for an ambulance, the other shortly after leaving in an ambulance. I cannot imagine how difficult this must be for their loved ones. Our HSU medical is under some type of external investigation. Tomorrow, there's another inmate Lives Matter protest. Oh, yeah, they're having Inmate Lives Matter. It's one of these protest groups outside of their prison. They're going to protest, rally to support Alderson inmates in terms of us having better conditions. These are wild times. I keep a journal. I feel like I'm living in the middle of a historic tragedy of sorts. Perhaps the constant lockdown and somber mood of the place just makes it feel that way. I don't know. But how are you doing? Are you finding learning the new business wings acquired easy or difficult? Hopefully with 25% will be home this summer, or with 50% sometime this winter. BOP finally gave me a projected release date, August 4th, 2023. That doing the 87%, so that's considering good time off. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, 2 deaths in there. Let me just read a couple more of these letters. She's got another one here. I sent her the article that I talked about yesterday, thousands inmates getting released. I sent it to about 7 people. I got a couple replies. The article appears legit correct. Our warden sent a memo on TrueLinks a few days ago that was similar. Basically, those who did programming would get time off applied to their sentences. And that BOP has began calculating out dates for those people. The recalculation is expected to take weeks, but will likely bring many people up for immediate review for early release under the CARES Act. This will affect Alderson inmates who have been down a while, especially those who transferred in from other places. Alderson has been under lockdown many months now, so no programming. The deaths are real. The deaths, people died, are real. You can confirm through the Alderson Facebook group, Alderson Friends and Family. The warden addressed us yesterday briefly in a town hall in each unit, specifically regarding the most recent one. The external investigation of HSU was info I received yesterday from a loved one on the outside, who I imagine got that from the internet somewhere, so possibly rumor. I tell myself daily, this is just a slice of my life. God bless you too, my friend. Let me read one more maybe here from, he's in Florence, and this is Al, who's in Florence. He says, thank you, Sean. Yes, we all heard. Some people in RRC, that's re-entry, are getting the credits already applied and going straight home. We are waiting on Tuesday to hear some news about us and how work is being credited. But it looks like all work are getting credited under FSA, the First Step Act. I have 8 months till my RRC date, and I've worked already for 5 months. Let me know if you hear anything new from any other facility or inmates. And I just kind of wanted to read you a few things that are going on. I get emails. A lot of them are kind of personal stuff, so, I could share it if you want. But I keep in contact with everybody that I've done interviews with on this channel. I get emails from them. They call me. So, it's nice that I keep this thing going. And when they all get out, I'll have them on the channel too. Tom, what do you know about the article I read last night? Thousands of inmates to be released this week. And from what I'm hearing, it's not going to happen this week. It's Friday. So where are they? I mean, the week's over. They lied again.
Well, as you know, inmate.com conjures up a lot of hopeful plans to get early release. BOP doesn't like early release. I mean,
No.
The reality is their budget is based upon bed counts. And, if they release a lot of people, their budget for each institution is going to go down.
Yeah.
So, yes, be optimistic. Let's hope that you get out soon, but be realistic also. Until you're at the gate. I mean, I didn't believe I was leaving until I was at the gate. And, they kept me, Sean, 2 extra months.
I know they did.
Beyond when they told me they were going to release me. I mean, they called me in and said, would you like to go home next Thursday? I said, well, of course. Well, 2 months later, and I didn't know till the night before that I was going to get released. So, there's no certainty in this. There's no rule books. The BOP can do whatever they want. But even in the halfway house, they kept me 6 weeks after they said I would get home confinement. So, hope for the best. But don't get so psychologically committed to it that you go into some state of depression if it doesn't happen. And be careful alerting your family and friends that you're coming home until you really know it's for sure. Because I was telling my family every week, I'll be home next week. I'll be home next week. And 2 months later, I felt a little foolish after a while. So hope for the best, but be realistic. This is the BOP, and they have no supervision at all. They can do anything they want.
And they can yank your good time too, even if you think your release date. Well, they got to let me out by that day. No, you can do still chicken out of the kitchen, and all of a sudden they take 40 days off your good time.
They kept most of my good time. I only got 10 days good time when it was all said and done.
Man,
now
so guys,
white collar guys get a little more abuse than the normal guys, but
I was just talking about that last night. The guards they think we're slippery people. We're stealing from undeserving families, and because they've invested their money. Maybe they got swindled or something. They have more respect for a drug dealer than they do a white collar criminal.
Yeah, they do.
Because they go, well, at least that's honest. It's an honest way of being. It's an honest living, or to them in their mind, they think, well, dealing drugs is more honest than what white collar guys do, and maybe it is. but you got to think about the victims. Let's see who else we got here. Somebody new in the room. Knowledge SOG. What's up from Chicago, everybody? What are y'all talking about? We're talking about federal prison. Before, after, and during, and trying to help people that are facing federal prison. Knowledge, a lot of people in the federal system get put on pretrial. 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, awaiting sentencing. It's happening now in the state prisons too because of the no bail. So people are getting cited and booked, and then they released, and they're on pretrial, and they're waiting to get sentenced. So it's happening all over the country, not just the feds, but people go through it, and they're curious. They want to know what's prison going to be like. What can I do? What kind of steps can I take while I'm on pretrial to get a better sentence, to reduce my sentence? You know, how to write a letter to the judge. What can I say to the judge? Is there anything I can do to change my life before I get sentenced, before that judge, so maybe I have a better outcome? And things like that we're talking about, Knowledge. Audrey says 87%. 80, yeah, it is 85%, Katrina. I don't know why she said 87. It used to be 87, Tom, right? That's where that 7-day thing that they owed us for. Was that what it was?
Well,
step back.
You know, I thought I used to know it until they took it away from me, and then I wasn't. Yeah. I just really want you to be realistic about whether you're going to get it or not. You know, you get counting on that because it's such a horrible place to be. You want to be even one day out early is good, but you get so heart set on it. I mean, I got really upset when I didn't get out, and that was a mistake. You know, I was so desperate to get out of there when they told me I was leaving, and then they kept me 2 more months. Every day was a nightmare. Those were the worst 60 days I was in.
Yeah.
You know, and when they finally, the night before, when they finally said, be at the bubble at 6:30 in the morning, you're leaving, I didn't believe it.
I know that feeling. I know. I seen it happen to.
I didn't believe it till I was driving off and I could see Florence in the background.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how happy I was. I made probably 25 phone calls, you know, people I'd wanted to talk to. And it was a great escape. Of course, then I had to go check in the halfway house, and I thought I was going to be in and out of there in 2 or 3 days. And that didn't happen either. So
that kind of goes with this question, Tom. It's about, keep going, but you see the question there? Katrina
does everyone in halfway house have to have tether? What is tether?
I'm not sure what that she means by tether, but what about on home confinement? So I'm thinking, you know, when you get to the halfway house, can you go on home confinement? Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what you mean by tether.
You know, let me just share my thoughts on the halfway house. The halfway houses are run by not-for-profit organizations that get paid a fee every day that somebody's in one of their beds, and they do not want to let you go, and they are under no obligation to let you go. And so, you know, like I said, I thought I was going to be in and out of the halfway house in a couple of days, and I was there 2 months, and I liked being in Camp Florence better than being in the halfway house. And so, you know, there's no appeal. If you think you're going to get something, or someone's convinced you that you're going to get something and you don't get it, there's nobody you can appeal to. They don't care. There's no appeal process. You can't go say, oh, I was having my good time, and you know, they don't care if they exceed and take some of your good time away. They just don't.
You can put in grievance forms and all that, but by the time those are even read, that could take years before they even answer you on that. Hey, thank you, Knowledge. Thank you for that comment there. And damn, Tom, guess something you said there. Katrina says she's talking to Neto, or have your doctor send your medical information by registered certified mail that someone has to sign for. Probably a good idea. Oh, now we know what tether meant, Tom. Ankle monitor.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the original question about the halfway house? So let's try like this. Does everyone in the halfway house have to wear an ankle bracelet? What about home confinement? If we put it like that, no, you don't wear ankle bracelets in the halfway house. Although some people on pretrial did in the halfway house. Because you can also go to halfway house before you go to prison. instead of being locked up in a detention center, or like me and Tom, we got to go home. Some people have to have an ankle bracelet while they're on pre-trial, but some people, they're right in the middle. We don't trust you to be home, but we know you're not high risk enough to put you in a jail, so we'll put you in a halfway house and wear the ankle bracelet. And most times you don't get credit time served while you're in the halfway house on pretrial. The only thing is you get to maybe go out to work every day and maybe a weekend pass instead of sitting in a jail or detention center. But you don't get credit time served in a halfway house on pre-sentence, on pretrial. That really sucks. You don't get credit while you're at home either. The only time you get credit on pretrial is while you're locked up in the jail or the detention center. And even then, while I was on pretrial, so guys, if you don't know, I used to have a drug problem and I violated and it came up dirty. Now, they could have sent me back to the Oakland jail, Santa Rita jail, to do my time, which was 3 more years of pretrial. I wouldn't have got any credit time served waiting on my sentence, but they let me do a drug rehab instead. Thank God. So that's another time you could sit in a county jail 2, 3, 4 years and not get any credit time served. It only when you first get indicted or arrested and they put you in that county jail, that you get credit time served for that. But if they let you out on a bond and you break the violation of that bond and they have to lock you up and detain you again, you lost any credits. So
let me just give you a perspective. Being in the camp was better than being in the halfway house. So there's no rush to get to the halfway house because the halfway house is, you have no recreation hardly. I was in there with 155 guys. They were all mad. You're cramped in bunks. There were, I think, 85 of us in a warehouse type room. So getting to the halfway house isn't better than where you're at.
No. It's kind of like work furlough out of jail. I don't know how many people have ever been to county jail, but sometimes you get sentenced to county jail in a work furlough unit where you actually go to work in the day. You check in at 5 o'clock and you're in a regular jail cell and they let you out at 6 in the morning. You got to come back. Or some people are there. They do weekends in jail and get free during the week. But halfway house is you're still an inmate. You're still you're an inmate until you get out of the halfway house. Your BOP property. You just get to finish your time under their terms of the halfway house. Oh, did you have? Oh, yeah. Oh, here Detroit halfway house waiting for home confinement. Okay. Knowledge says, yes, we did. Yes, we did. I did 6 months on it in 99 and then went into SAD, Special Alternative to Incarceration program, which is prison boot camp in Detroit. Detroit's a place I wouldn't want to do any time in. That's got to be a dangerous place there. So, you guys, I want to take a minute, Tom. Tom knows about this, but if you guys don't know, I moved out here to work for Wings for Life. So this is a nonprofit charity who helps inmates coming out of prison. We're called Returning Citizens. We also help the families while a loved one's locked up. Sometimes it's your son, it's your daughter, it's your wife, it's your kids, it's your husband. Well, while they're locked up, you have your own problems. You're going through it too, and you're getting, maybe your kids are getting bullied and cyberbullied at school, and you're shamed by your family because your husband's in prison and people are looking at you. And anyways, we help them out. But I want to tell you about a new show that we're going to do on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. It's going to start next Friday, and it's a show that they're letting me put on. So this channel's still going to be. I'm still going to do videos on this channel, but next Friday at 3 o'clock we're going to go live, and it's going to be Wings Week in Review. So we're going to have different guests every week. We're going to show you clips. We're going to talk about what Wings for Life did with all the donations that we take in every week. We're going to show you pictures, have guests. We're going to do shout outs. We got little segments and stories to talk about and talk about upcoming events, and it'll be live, and you can chat and ask questions and comments. So please go to YouTube, Wings for Life. Just do a search for Wings for Life. Check out that channel. And please subscribe. I'm trying to get their subscribers up. They have nowhere near 1,000 subscribers, and I got hired. And one of my jobs is going to get their channel up and going. They've been around 27 years, and if you think I'm helping people, you should see this organization. What they really do for the children and the families and all the people coming out of prison. This organization is top notch. They've won awards for the last 10 years. They're squeaky clean. Okay. There's nobody driving around in limousines, living in fancy houses. No. All the money gets put back. And that's what the show's going to be about, to let everybody know. So that's my little plug. You're going to see little videos on my channel plugging this show that starts next Friday. So don't worry. I'll still be here for you guys. And Tom, you're going to be a guest on that show, right? Next month?
Yes, sir.
I'll let you know when. So what do we got here? Knowledge says, congratulations on your sobriety, sir. It is a noteworthy accomplishment. I battled with drug addiction and alcoholism for years, so my hat's off to you for overcoming. Yeah, Knowledge, I started AA meetings in Florence. Tom remembers that. And they hadn't had meetings there in years. And our associate warden let me write letters to AA. They sent me boxes of books and pamphlets and brochures and a whole starter kit to start meetings. And the warden let me do a 9 o'clock spot in the visiting room on Wednesdays. And the first meeting, like 8 people showed up. They let me put flyers up all over the camp. And the meeting kept going, So the pandemic kind of closed it down. But I know some guys in there, they're going to start it back up again as soon as the prison lets them, because right now everything's shut down. But also, by the time I left in the chapel, Tom, there's a whole recovery shelf now with all kinds of recovery books. I couldn't find
it. Amazing it took
What's that?
It's amazing it took a person like you, dedicated to helping inmates, to start that program in a federal camp. They should have had that program going, and it should be supported by the education staff. They didn't support it, so you took the initiative to go do it on your own. And so hats off to you, Sean.
I did. I had to go kiss ass to a bunch of correctional officers and the warden. I mean, they welcomed my idea and stuff, but they didn't think I was serious. When I showed up, when a box came to the R&D, because it was a big box, and I remember the warden, Miss Morse was our associate warden, and she called me up on the speaker, and I didn't know what was going on. Because you got a big box here from Alcoholics Anonymous. You were serious, huh? I go, yes, I was. And she says, all right, what can I do? And I said, well, I need a time slot, and can you print me up some flyers? And she did that. And she even showed up at a couple meetings just to check and say thank you to everybody there, and told everybody to keep coming back. And they really, really were on my side about that. But I had to get, like you said, I had to take that initiative, and I had to find people to show up too, and I was worried about that. But no, plenty of people want help in prison. You know what I mean? What do we got here? But she can leave. She just has to be in it. Oh, wait. I missed the first one. Okay. Knowledge says he should be. I'm missing something here. He should be all right. My little sister's doing 6 months in a halfway house in Flint, Michigan, through the new PASS program. And she says it's not too bad. You just have to pay them a bunch of money. Oh, he's referring to Katrina's son. Yeah. But she can leave. She just has to be in at a certain time. She's pretty much free other than drug tests and classes. Your average probation and parole crap. Yeah, the halfway houses, they have them for state prisons too, and mine was mixed. Tom, you went to the one here in Albuquerque?
Yeah, Dearson. It was all federal.
All federal, yeah. Tom, my brother is in the here. Hey, Patrick, little Finn in the house. Oh yeah, I used to have a nickname called Finn. It had my last name Gill, Cow Gill Finn. So yeah, my brother's doing good, guys. He's in recovery now, and he had a choice to stay in jail or do recovery, and he chose recovery. And I'm so glad, because now I have my brother back in my life, and he didn't have to go to prison. He's doing a year program in Tennessee, and we could talk on the phone. I got my little brother back in my life, and so anything I can do to help you, little brother, to stay out of prison, keep on the right path. I know you're on the right path. Actually, he's going to come on my channel here, I think next weekend or something, and he's going to tell you his story. Because my brother is a miracle too, Tom. And maybe one day you'll meet him.
Like to.
What's that?
I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, because Patrick, me and Tom see each other in person. I mean, you know, Tom's the reason I came to Albuquerque. It's all your fault, Tom.
I'm so delighted that it worked out.
And yes, sir, it was a rocky road. What's that from South Chicago, Little Finn? WhatsApp? Oh, what do you mean? Oh, that's a new thing. What WhatsApp? That right? That's a phone number you can call or something?
No, that's another platform like Messenger.
Another platform. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it? Okay. All right. So I got one foot in the 20th century, guys, and the other foot's in the 21st century. But you know, I was born in 1964. Tom, we won't even say they just got done inventing the wheel. I think fire just came out when Tom was born. No.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see here. Oh, I got it, Nodge. You got it. My brother says way cool. All right, Tom. So, Tom, you want to maybe talk about if you made any progress? Tom's got a lot of ideas to help inmates when they get out of prison. Have you made any? You got a progress report about anything from?
Well, we're still putting the project planning document together. We're just starting on it, actually. You know, you're getting so busy. I want you to get your feet on the ground there. But, you know, a lot of people come out of prison. They don't have a car anymore. They don't have a job, and they don't have a place to live. And so they leave the halfway house and they go to a homeless shelter. So we want to work with those guys that need a car and try to figure out how we can get them a car, hand them a car key when they get out, get them a job, but not a minimum wage job, but a job where they really capitalize on their skills and talents and expertise, and they get paid commensurate with those skills, regardless of their criminal history. And so we're going to try to give people, we don't have it done yet, we're just in the conceptualization stage, but we're going to try to help people with a car, a job, and a place to live. If they don't have any one of those three things or don't have any of them, we want to help those guys, because those are the ones at risk. The greatest risk is when you get out and you don't have a car anymore. It's hard to get financing, so you're riding a bike. I saw a lot of guys at the halfway house riding bikes.
Yeah,
taking the bus, working washing dishes for $8.75 an hour.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The halfway house takes 25% of your pay.
Yes, they do.
The government takes 43% of your pay. So you're working for 30-40 cents on the dollar, and it's tough. And your pride, your ego, your self-esteem is really challenged. So when you're trying to get back on your feet, you don't need to face those kind of obstacles. So we're going to try through Wings of Life and with Sean to create a not-for-profit that can help in that regard. So, we'll as we get more real, we'll bring more information to you.
So, guys, you see, I'm not the only one out there. Tom is right on my same page. We're trying to help people, and we're felons, but we know but we went through prison and we know what it's like, and we met people in there that have nowhere to go when they get out. My heart went out to a lot of people. There was a guy, I used to eat lunch with him once in a while, Tom. If I can't remember, he was maybe 30 years old. He was out of Denver, and he's been in, it was like his third time in prison, and he did not want to do RDAP, and he qualified, and it was in his paperwork. His job was he was delivering pizza in Denver, and somebody paid him, well, as long as you're making deliveries, can you take this from point A to point B? And he got caught, and it was federal. I think, I forget why it was federal, but anyways, he got 3 years, and he didn't want to do RDAP because he told me, I want to stay in prison. I don't want to go home early. I have nowhere to go. I'm homeless. I'm a drug addict. When I get out, it's just going to be the same thing. I'll be right back. I'm safe right now, Sean. He goes, I'm off drugs. I'm in prison. And he went to my AA meetings, and he was afraid to go home. And there's, he says, I don't have any life waiting for me. What am I going to do? It's a guy like that, I want to, we got to reach out to them and let them know when you get out, I'm there for you. Tom's there for you. Herman Delgado, he's there for you. There's people out there. And I wish I could go back in time and tell him about Wings for Life and there's a program called Thresholds, and Herman Delgado has been on my channel a couple times. He picks people up in his car at the gate, and he gets them into a sober living house, and he gets them a job. And Herman's in recovery too. So, there's help out there for people. We just got to get the word out, and that's kind of why I'm starting this channel. You know what I mean, Tom?
Well, you're doing some great work, and you're digitizing this and getting it broadcast all over the United States. I mean, how many viewers have you had since you started this, Sean?
I've had 130,000 views. I just checked the other day. Unreal. Yeah, that's a stadium. That's 3 stadiums full of people that have watched it.
100,000+ lives who are all challenged, trying to find, a new path.
Yeah.
Under incredibly difficult circumstances. I mean,
right.
You got to fight for your chance when you get out, because there are not many people, stepping up to the plate to help you. And your family's been fighting their own battle. Their family, I think it's tougher on your family than it is on you. And so that's a hard concept to grasp, but your family's been through a lot of hell, and they need help too. And, you're gonna have to be a strong person to step up and walk your family back to a stabilized, happy existence. But a lot of programs out there to help you do it.
Right. Knowledge. It's Wings for Life. I just put the website up there, but if you do a search, you'll go check them out. They've got a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, and a website. And the website's full of information. It's underneath my videos. There's lots of links for Wings for Life too, so check that out. My brother says he just got a new HP desktop computer from this program thrift store for free. So he's living at it's a Christian drug and alcohol program. They have a thrift store and stuff. So they give you, that's great, Pat. So they give you a desktop computer. Great, man. That's great. Then you could come on the streams. Patrick, I found out we could have used Zoom if I had to, if you need to use your cell phone. Knowledge says, amen to that, and God bless you for planting the seeds as an accomplishment. You're welcome. Trying to get information. All righty. And let's see. Well, Tom, you got something else you want to say, or otherwise I can go to some news articles. We can talk about that, Tom.
Why don't you go to that? I got to sign off. I have one more call, the Zoom call I got to finish up tonight. And but boy, I always enjoy being on with you, Sean. And hats off to you. You're doing some amazing work, and you're doing it all on your own. And
not alone anymore, man.
Exactly. So God bless you all. Good luck to you. We'll be back on again, and look forward to talking some more. Thank you, Sean.
All right. Thank you, Tom. God bless, man.
Bye-bye.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to read you some federal news stories. Let's see. Let me share my screen here. This is what we got going this week. People in the scandal-plagued federal prison system reveal what they need in a new director. After less than 2 years on the job, the embattled director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, Michael Carvajal, abruptly announced he quit because they were going to fire him. Indiana man sentenced to federal prison for dealing meth in Fox Valley. Dylan Cole, 22, was ordered to spend 13 years in federal prison for meth distribution and firearm possession. 5 PD residents sentenced to federal prison for drug conspiracy. I don't know where PD is. Chesterfield and Darlington. And I can click on these and we can read them. Judge in theft case released from federal prison. Albany, New York. Disbarred former Guilderland Town Justice Richard Sherwood is out of federal prison less than 6 months after a judge rejected his, and I haven't clicked it, Rochester man sentenced to federal prison for Minneapolis arson that killed another man. New rule makes thousands of federal inmates eligible for release. Now they're saying they're just eligible. Yesterday, that was the New York Times. And yesterday, the New York Times said thousands will be released this week. Well, that's just like the New York Times, flip-flopping on their stories. Don't get me started on politics. 22 hours ago, this one came out. Warren County man sentenced to federal prison for using disabled veterans' ID for benefits. That's a white-collar crime. 5, to spend years in federal prison for drug activity in the PD. Let's read one of these, and then we'll talk about it. Warren County sentenced to federal prison. Let's see if it shows up. Warren County man sentenced to federal prison for using disabled veterans' ID for benefits. Just to get you thrown in a camp. Let's see what it says here. A man was sentenced to 1 year and a day in federal prison Thursday in the U.S. District in Cincinnati for stealing the identity of a disabled U.S. veteran. Fernando Arroyo Alonso, 59, was arrested in Warren County in May of 2021 for misusing a Social Security number. He has been held in Butler County Jail since July 15th, according to the jail website. He didn't get out on pretrial. Arroyo Alonso, a Mexican citizen, submitted an online application in May 2019 for Title 16 Supplemental Security Income Benefits using the identity of a disabled veteran who also receives Supplemental Security Income and Veteran Affairs benefits. So, yeah, he was a Mexican citizen. That's why. So, actually, he probably won't go to a camp. He'll go to a low. If you're a Mexican citizen, you can't go to a camp. But if you have an alien registration card or you're somehow legal to work here, we had lots of them at the camp. But if you're a Mexican citizen, yeah, that's why he was locked up in the county jail. Stealing somebody's, that's identity theft. They gave him a year and a day. And the funny thing is, there's something called aggregated identity theft. It's a 2-year minimum, mandatory minimum. So I don't know how he got a year and a day. Well, yes, I do. He talked. He cooperated. He did something because that's a 2-year minimum. Anyway, just saying. Let's see if I got any more comments in the room. Okay. Katrina says, why do you keep skipping mine? I don't keep skipping yours, Katrina. I've read 17 of your comments already. Count them. Rerun them. Come on now, Katrina. I call you on the phone. We talk. Don't play nice. Knowledge says, I went and subscribed to Wings for Life International, but you have to put the international on there. Right? Oh, that's right. You do have to put the international. Thank you, Knowledge. Thank you, Knowledge. Katrina says, does anyone know anything about men's halfway houses in Detroit? Does anybody? Katrina is asking. And Knowledge says, nothing too specific about halfway houses in Detroit. But if you give me a specific question, I can call my little sister real quick. Hey, there you go. She's been in and out of the system up there her whole life, so she should be able to answer almost anything. And got my brother here. Look at the new lengths of sentences in this country for anyone offense. Jesus sets the captives free, too much punishment in the laws of man. And there is a quote from my brother. All right. It's going on an hour, so I'm probably going to wrap this up, but I would give it a couple minutes for some final questions. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. And when you subscribe, there's a little bell on the right side. Hit the bell, and then it gives you 3 choices, and hit the all. And what that does is anytime a new video comes out, you get a notification. So you ring the bell. You want to subscribe, hit that little thumbs up like button. And if you want to share it around the world, share it, shoot an email out. There's a little share button too. but I appreciate it. At least subscribe. Helps the channel. Oh, and leave comments underneath if you're watching this on a replay. You can leave comments underneath. It helps the algorithms, helps the channel grow, helps me get out there to more people. Maybe I can help one more soul. Let's see here. Trina says, knowledge, men's are tether required. They are. And there we go. At Katrina Strubs, let me know. 1 second. All righty. And I'm going to scroll up here and see if I missed any comments. I did miss one from you, Katrina. I live in Eastern District of Michigan, so Detroit for my son. So I missed one of your comments, Katrina. I'm sorry. I was trying to say what's up. Oh, yeah. I think I got them all there. See if there's any new ones. All right, guys. I'm going to say goodnight. My brother, I love you, bro. And, maybe next weekend I'll get you on the channel. You can tell the world your story. and there's a happy ending and little miracles going on all over this YouTube channel. So anyways, guys, good night. And Harvey Talks Prison. If you're still on here, hopefully he calls me, and Harvey will be on the channel tomorrow night. So anyways, good night and God bless.